Smoke filled the air. Fire burned across the battlefield. The sky was dark with ash, and the ground was broken with blood and metal. Ships lay in pieces. Bodies didn't move. Explosions echoed far away. This was war. In the middle of it all, an alien warrior fell. Her name was Commander Nyla. She was Zarian, tall, silver-skinned, and strong. For many years, her name had brought fear to human soldiers. She had never lost a battle. Until now, a blast from a human plasma cannon had hit her directly. Her armor cracked, her leg was torn, and her spine was damaged. She tried to move, but nothing worked. Her body didn't answer. She was paralyzed. Nyla lay behind a piece of broken ship. Her eyes stayed open, but her strength faded quickly. Her people, the Zarians, were losing. One by one, they activated escape pods and flew away. She could hear them speak through the comms. "We're leaving. Fall back. No rescue for fallen." No one came for her, not even her second in command. Not even her closest guards. They had all left her behind. The pain in her body was strong. But the pain in her heart was stronger. Her people had abandoned her. She, the one who led them to victory so many times, now meant nothing. She tried to lift her hand. It didn't move. She whispered weakly, "Help," but there was no answer. Only silence. The wind carried dust into her eyes. Her breathing slowed. Her vision became blurry. She felt her body grow cold. In her mind, one thought repeated over and over: "This is the end." But then, footsteps, soft at first. Then closer. She forced her eyes to look. Through the thick smoke, a figure appeared. A human. He wore dark green armor. His helmet was off. He had short hair, a strong face, and tired eyes. A rifle rested in his hands, ready but lowered. Nyla felt fear. She could not move, could not fight. If he saw her as an enemy, he would shoot. But he didn't shoot. He stood still. Watching her, their eyes met. Something passed between them. Not words, not sound, just something. Quiet. The human walked slowly toward her. He looked down at her ruined body, then around the area. He didn't raise his weapon. He just knelt beside her. "Still alive?" he asked softly. Nyla couldn't speak. Her lips moved, but no sound came. He pulled a small scanner from his belt. It beeped once. She was still breathing. Barely. He shook his head inside. "You're lucky I found you. Or maybe unlucky." He sat back on his heels, thinking. He knew what the rules said. If a human soldier helped a Zarian, it was treason. If he touched her, saved her, or gave her anything, it was a crime. But this was no monster. This was a living, breathing person, and she was dying. The soldier looked into her eyes again. "If I help you, they'll hunt me." She blinked slowly. He looked away for a second, then reached into his pouch and pulled out a med foam spray. Without speaking, he sprayed it on her leg wound. The foam sizzled as it stopped the bleeding and numbed the pain. Nyla let out a soft breath. He nodded. "That's better." Still no response from her. But she was watching. He took off his glove and gently wiped the dust from her face. "My name's Ryder," he said. "Sergeant J. Ryder." Nyla stared. He gave a small smile. "Don't die on me, okay?" He looked around again. No soldiers nearby. No drones in sight. He leaned closer. "If I leave you here, you die. If I carry you, I die." He stood up. Paused. And then slowly, carefully, he lifted her into his arms. She gasped softly. The pain was sharp, but she didn't scream. He held her close. Her armor was cold. Her skin was colder. But her heartbeat, though weak, was still there. "We're gonna try this," he whispered. "Even if it kills us both." And then he walked. Through smoke, through fire, through silence. He didn't know where he was going. Only that he couldn't leave her behind, because something inside him said, She's not just the enemy. She's someone worth saving. The battlefield behind him still burned. Sergeant Ryder walked slowly, carefully, carrying the alien warrior in his arms. The world around him was silent, no gunfire, no screams, only the low hum of wind moving through shattered metal. He had walked away from war, but toward a different kind of fight, the one inside his own heart. Nayla, the alien woman. He held, didn't speak. Her head rested against his shoulder, her breath barely there. She was heavier than she looked, her armor was thick, her body limp, but he never thought about putting her down. Not once. He didn't know why. Maybe it was the way her eyes had locked with his. Not full of pride, not full of fear. Just a quiet plea. Don't leave me. And he didn't. He had disobeyed orders before, but never like this. This time, it wasn't for survival. It was for someone else. Someone he was supposed to hate. He kept moving, each step deeper into no man's land, where burned forests and wrecked ships offered little cover. If drones spotted them, they'd be labeled as a unit, one human, one alien traitor and enemy. He found a broken structure, maybe an old outpost or station. Half of it had collapsed, but the basement hatch was still intact. Ryder kicked. The door opened and lowered them both into the dark. He laid Nayla on a dusty sleeping pad, then lit a small lantern. The room glowed faint orange, concrete walls, a half-broken table. It wasn't much, but it was enough to survive for now. Ryder took off his helmet and dropped to one knee beside her. Her armor was still cracked, her body was cold. He reached into his pouch, pulling out emergency water, a thermal blanket, and another med-foam tube. He worked in silence, cleaned her wounds, wrapped her arm, repaired what he could. She flinched once when he touched her shoulder, and her eyes fluttered open. For the first time since he had found her, she spoke. One word. Why? Ryder froze. He looked into her eyes. That one word held everything: confusion, pain, disbelief. Why are you helping me? He didn't answer right away. He just sat down beside her, staring at the lantern light flickering on the ceiling. Because, he said at last, I've seen too many people left behind. I won't be the kind of man who does it too. Nayla stared. Her voice was hoarse. I am Zarian. You are human. He gave a tired smile. Yeah, I noticed. You are supposed to kill me. I'm supposed to do a lot of things, he replied. But today, I made a different choice. She said nothing, her lips pressed together, her eyes watching him closely like she was trying to read something written on his soul. He stood and walked to the hatch door, checking for motion outside. Still quiet. Still safe. When he turned back, she was awake, still weak, still broken, but not afraid. Do you have a name? He asked. She paused. Then whispered, Nayla. Ryder nodded. Nayla, got it. A moment of silence followed. Then Nayla spoke again. You are not like the others. No, he said, I'm not. He walked over, sat beside her again, and handed her a water tube. She drank slowly, hands shaking. You don't have to trust me, he said softly. But I'm not leaving you behind. Nayla stared into the distance. For the first time in her life, she had met a human who didn't see her as a threat or a trophy. He saw her as someone who deserved a second chance, even when no one else did. She closed her eyes and whispered something in Zarian. He didn't understand the words, but he knew what they meant. Thank you. Ryder leaned against the wall and pulled his rifle close. They were both enemies in the eyes of the world, but in that small, broken shelter beneath the battlefield, they were just two lives that refused to give up. The storm outside had passed, but inside the bunker, a different kind of storm was building, quieter, deeper. Ryder sat at the corner of the cracked room, watching Nayla sleep. Her breath had steadied. The color had returned to her silver skin. She was still weak, still unable to stand, but the danger of death had passed, because he had refused to let her die. He checked the medical scanner. Her leg was healing, but her spine damage was worse. Without advanced treatment, she might never walk again. Ryder sighed and leaned back. He had broken the rules. He had saved the enemy. And now, he was alone in a broken world with no idea what came next. Suddenly, Nyla stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, scanning the dim room. For a second, she looked frightened until she saw him. "You're still here," she whispered. He nodded. "Told you I wouldn't leave." She tried to sit up, but winced in pain. "Easy," Ryder said, helping her gently. "You're still healing." She watched him for a long moment. "You are not what I was taught." Ryder raised an eyebrow. "What were you taught?" "That humans are cruel, wild, born from fear, ruled by weakness." He chuckled. "And what do you think now?" "I think someone lied." A silence settled between them. Not cold, not awkward, just real. Ryder reached into his pack and took out a ration cube. He broke it in half and handed her a piece. She hesitated. He smiled. "It's terrible, but better than starving." She took it, sniffed it, then slowly bit into it, her face twisted in confusion. "This is food?" "Barely," he replied. She actually smiled. Just for a second. In that tiny moment, Ryder didn't see an alien warrior. He saw someone tired, broken, but still alive. Still fighting. She swallowed hard, then looked at him again. "You could have let me die." "Yeah, you would have been safe. Probably." "Then, why?" Ryder looked away, thinking. Then he spoke softly. "Years ago, I lost my squad. We were ambushed. I was pinned, wounded. I called for help, but no one came. I lay there for hours, thinking I'd die alone. Then a medic from another unit broke protocol. He came back for me, saved my life." He looked at her, eyes steady. "I swore I'd return that favor someday, even if it meant saving someone I wasn't supposed to." Neela's voice was quiet. "And you chose me." "Yeah," he said, "I chose you." She didn't speak. Her fingers tightened slightly around the ration bar. The words sat between them like a fire, silent, but warm. Suddenly, a crackling sound broke the quiet. "Ryder's come unit blinked. Incoming broadcast. He tapped it. A cold voice echoed. "Attention all units. Be advised, Sergeant J. Ryder has gone rogue. Last seen assisting a hostile Zarian combatant. Shoot on sight." Ryder's face hardened. Nyla's eyes widened. "They're hunting you," he nodded. "For saving you." She struggled to sit up. "Straighter. You should go." "I'm not going anywhere." "You'll be killed." "I've already made my choice." The wind outside began to pick up again. Dust swept across the battlefield. Ryder checked the window slit. Drones. 2 of them. Scanning nearby ruins. "Looks like they're close," he muttered. He turned back to Nyla. "We can't stay here." "I can't run," she said. Then, "I'll carry you again. You'll die." "Maybe, but I won't let them erase what I did like it meant nothing." Nyla's breath shook. "You risked everything," she whispered. "For someone you were trained to hate." Ryder looked at her, and in that moment, something deeper passed between them. "I didn't save an enemy," he said. "I saved a person." Nyla blinked, a tear sliding down her cheek, something Zarians rarely allowed themselves. "Then I will not let you fall alone," she said. Ryder smiled. "Then we stand together." He wrapped her in his cloak, lifted her carefully in his arms once more, and moved toward the exit. 2 enemies. 2 choices. One act of mercy that would shake the lines. Drawn by war. The wind howled like a ghost. Ryder moved through the ash-covered wasteland, one step at a time, carrying Nyla close to his chest. Her silver skin felt colder now, but her eyes stayed open, watching everything. The battlefield had grown quiet, but quiet didn't mean safe. Drones circled above, scanning with red lights. Patrols moved through the rubble in tight formations. No one looked for survivors now. They looked for threats, And to both sides, Ryder and Neela were exactly that. A human soldier aiding a Zarian commander? It was unthinkable, unforgivable. The old factory ruins came into view, half buried under sand and debris, its walls cracked from previous bombings. Ryder kicked open a steel door and slipped inside, the metal echoing under his boots. He lowered Neela onto a piece of tarp near the wall and checked her pulse. Still strong. She was awake, breathing deeper now. "You're getting better," he said. She gave a weak nod. "You're getting slower." He smiled faintly. "You're heavier than you look." She let out a small laugh. Even that hurt. But for the first time in days, it felt good to laugh, even just a little. Then her face turned serious. "Why are you risking your life for me?" Ryder sat down beside her. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Because I'm tired of watching people die just because they were on the wrong side." Neela looked away. "I was taught there is no wrong side, only victory or death." "That's what they told me too," Ryder said, "and I believed it. Until now." He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, searchlights passed over the nearby hills. He ducked, heart racing. "They're getting close," he whispered. Neela struggled to sit up. "Then leave me." "No, you'll die if they catch you." "Then we die together." She stared at him. There was no pride in his voice. No anger, just quiet certainty. "I don't understand you," she said. "You're not supposed to." Ryder turned away, pulling out a small signal jammer from his belt. He activated it and tossed it on the ground. The hum from the device filled the room with a low vibration. "That should keep us off their scanners for a while." Neela closed her eyes for a moment, breathing deeply. When she opened them again, she asked, "What happens if we get caught?" "We run. And if we can't?" Ryder paused, then knelt beside her. "Then we make them remember who we were. Not enemies, not monsters. Just people who chose something different." She blinked, stunned by the words. No soldier had ever spoken like that. No human had ever spoken like that. Outside, boots crunched in the sand. Voices echoed. A patrol was coming. Ryder grabbed his rifle and aimed at the door, but Neela grabbed his arm. Her grip was weak, but her voice was strong. "Don't fight them. They'll kill us." "Then let me try." He stared at her. "Try what?" She didn't answer with words. She pulled a small device from the inside of her armor, a black thin square, glowing faintly. "What is that?" he asked. "A Zarian distress beacon," she whispered. "Only my blood can activate it. It sends a silent call to any Zarian vessel in range." "You've had this the whole time?" "Yes, but I didn't use it until I was sure you were real." She pressed the beacon to her wrist. It glowed brighter. Far above, beyond the clouds, something heard her. A distant hum began to build. Ryder looked out the window. A ship, black, fast, shaped like a winged blade. Zarian design. "Moving fast, you called them?" he asked. She nodded. "I told them not to fire. I told them I'm not alone." Ryder lowered his weapon. "Do you trust them?" "No," she whispered. "I trust you." The sound outside grew louder. Human patrols shouted, looking up. Then the sky cracked. The Zarian ship dropped a blinding smoke bomb, cloaking the entire area. Red lights danced through the fog as human soldiers panicked. Ryder felt her hand in his. "Come," she said. "Let them see the future they fear." They stepped out together, wounded, hunted, but standing. A human, an alien, no longer enemies. Just survivors, walking together through smoke, behind enemy lines. The Zarian ship flew low and silent, gliding through the clouds like a shadow across the stars. Inside, the atmosphere was cold and quiet. Blue lights lined the dark metallic walls, and every step echoed like a whisper. Advanced tech surrounded them, machines Ryder had never seen before. It was nothing like human ships. No chatter, no shouting. Just stillness, like the ship itself was holding its breath. Ryder stood near a window, looking out at the endless sky. His rifle was gone. His armor stripped. He was no longer a soldier, now just a man on a ship full of aliens who didn't trust him. Behind him, Neela walked slowly. She was in a clean uniform, now simple, gray, marked with silver lines. Her wounds were healing fast thanks to Zarian medicine. Her steps were careful, but strong. "You're quiet," she said. Approaching him, Ryder didn't turn. "I'm thinking." "About what?" He paused. "About how strange it is to be inside a ship that once tried to kill me." She came closer. "And yet, you're alive." "Because of you," he said. Nyla stood beside him now, looking out the same window. "Do you regret it? Saving me?" He thought for a long moment, then shook his head. "No, but I do wonder what I've become." She tilted her head. "What do you mean?" "I was trained to see you as the enemy, as something dangerous, something less than human. But now, I don't see that anymore. And that makes me wonder, what else have I been wrong about?" Neela looked at him carefully. Her voice was soft but steady. "I was taught the same. That humans were wild, emotion-driven, selfish. But you gave everything for someone you should have left behind." He smiled slightly. "You're not what I expected." "And you," she said, "are not what I feared." They stood in silence. Not as enemies, not even as allies, just people. After a while, Neela turned toward him. "Do you know what my name means in Zarian tongue?" He shook his head. "It means steel flame, strong, unbending, but easily alone." Ryder looked at her. "You're not alone anymore." She stared at him for a long moment, as if searching his face for a lie, but there was none. Just quiet. "Truth. I was ready to die on that battlefield," she said. "I had accepted it. I was ready to leave this galaxy behind, thinking no one cared." "But I cared," Ryder said softly. "Yes," she nodded. "And now, I don't know who I am anymore." He turned to her, fully now. "You're not just a commander, or a soldier, or even an alien. You're someone who chose to see me when everyone else saw a threat." She blinked. Her eyes shined in the soft light. "Not with power, not with pride, but with something rare, trust. I was broken when you found me," she whispered. Ryder stepped closer, and I was lost. They stood close now, no battlefield, no war sounds. Just the low hum of the ship and the quiet beating of two hearts that never should have met, but did. Then came the voice. The ship's HFY spoke through the walls. "Approaching neutral zone. 10 minutes to exit point." Neela sighed. "They're giving you a choice." Ryder frowned. "What kind of choice?" "They can drop you in human space, let you go free. Your people may forgive you, or they may not. Or, he asked, "you stay with us, with me." Ryder searched her eyes. "Would I be safe?" "No," she said. "But you would be seen, not as an enemy, not as a soldier, but as the man who changed everything." He looked out the window again. The stars had never felt so wide, so full of paths, so full of unknowns. He turned back to her. "I didn't save you because I thought it would change anything," he said. "I saved you because it was right. And sometimes," she said, "doing what's right changes everything." They stood quietly, knowing the galaxy outside might never understand what happened between them. But they did, because in that moment, Neela wasn't just an alien, and Ryder wasn't just a human. They were something else now. A bond born from mercy, asterisk. Stars had barely moved, but everything had changed. Inside the Zarian ship, Ryder and Neela waited in silence as the vessel passed through a narrow sector called the Deadline, a stretch of space not owned by any race. No patrols, no treaties. Just a thin line between two burning galaxies. But peace doesn't last long during war, and kindness doesn't go unpunished. A sharp alarm broke the stillness. Incoming human signal. Multiple warships locking coordinates, preparing to intercept. Ryder stood up, his jaw tight. They found us. Neela turned to the control panel. Her fingers danced across the interface. They're broadcasting a direct message to the ship. Ryder stepped beside her. Let me hear it. The audio buzzed to life, crackling with tension. To the Zarian ship holding Sergeant J. Ryder, return him immediately. He is charged with treason and aiding the enemy. This is your only warning. He clenched his fists. They think I betrayed them. You didn't, Nyla said. Didn't I? He whispered. I broke orders. I saved the one person they told me to kill. And now, I'm the traitor. You were merciful, she replied. They fear that. Before he could speak. Again, the ship shook violently. A warning shot. Neela turned sharply. They're not going to wait. The Zarian pilot appeared in the doorway. Her red armor gleamed under the emergency lights. They'll board us if we don't act. I'll surrender, Ryder said quickly. Nyla's eyes widened. What? I'll go out alone. Let them take me. If it stops a fight, if it keeps you safe, it's worth it. She stepped forward. No, Ryder. I won't let you trade yourself for me again. This isn't a trade, he said. It's a choice. My people need to see that mercy isn't weakness. Maybe if they see me alive, not running, something will change. You'll be locked away. Then I'll survive. Like I always have. But Neela wasn't listening anymore. She turned to the pilot. Tell them something for me. The pilot hesitated. What message? Neela's voice was calm, clear, and sharp as steel. Tell them Commander Neela of the First Claw is requesting a summit with their leadership, not as an enemy, but as a witness. Ryder stared at her. What are you doing? She turned to him. I'm standing beside the man who saved me. I owe you more than my life. I owe you the truth. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. Outside the ship, human vessels circled, engines hot, weapons armed. One move too fast and it would all turn to fire. But inside, two people, once strangers, once enemies, stood together, not running, not hiding, just standing. The message was sent. For 5 long minutes nothing happened. Then, a reply. Commander Neela, Sergeant Ryder. Human command is willing to listen. You will dock under escort. One wrong move, and it ends. Ryder let out a long breath. That's better than I expected. Neela smiled faintly. Then they've already started to change. The ship turned slowly toward the lead human vessel. In the shadows of space, a war paused. Not because of orders. Not because of surrender. But because of mercy. Because 2 warriors born from hate had chosen something different. And now, the galaxy would have to listen. The docking bay hissed open with a slow metallic breath. Ryder stepped out first, hands raised, his boots echoing against the steel floor of the human warship. His armor had been stripped of rank. He wore only a plain gray survival suit now. No symbols, no flags. Just a man. Behind him walked Neela, tall and proud, but without her armor. Her silver skin shimmered under the human ship's white lights. Her steps were slow but firm. She didn't hide. She didn't flinch. Together, they walked across the hangar, alien and human. Side by side, soldiers lined both walls, weapons aimed. But fingers still. The room was tense, not from hate, but confusion, fear, curiosity. The two had become something the war wasn't ready for. Proof. Proof that enemies could choose compassion. Proof that mercy could survive even in the ashes of destruction. They reached the center of the chamber, where a line of human commanders waited. Their faces were cold, their eyes full of questions. Ryder recognized one of them, General Harper, the man who once called him one of our best. Now that same man stared at him like a stranger. You disobeyed direct orders, Harper said. You saved the enemy. You disappeared behind enemy lines. Why? Ryder's voice was steady. Because she stopped being the enemy the moment I saw her as a person. He looked toward Neela. She didn't beg for help. She didn't offer a deal. She was just left behind, like I once was. Harper's jaw tightened. And you expect sympathy? No, Ryder said. I expect understanding. Then Nyla. Step forward. I am Commander Neela of the Zarian First Claw, she said clearly. And I am alive today because this human made a choice none of you expected. He chose honor over hate. The room shifted. Soldiers exchanged glances. Silence stretched like tension in a pulled wire. Then Harper asked, "What do you want?" "Ryder." And Neela looked at each other. "We want to speak," she said. "Not as soldiers, but as survivors." "Of what?" The general asked. "Of a war that should have ended long ago," Ryder answered. "A war built on stories, not truth." There was no applause, no sudden peace treaty. But no one raised their weapons either. And sometimes, that's where change begins. Hours later, Ryder stood alone by a wide window aboard the command deck. Earth was visible in the distance blue. And calm, untouched by the storm out here. Footsteps approached. Neela stood beside him. "Quiet. They didn't lock me up," Ryder said. "They didn't kill me either," she replied. He smiled. "Progress." She looked out the window, her voice soft. "We're not finished, you know. The war still burns." "Maybe," he said. "But fires die when enough people stop throwing fuel." She turned to him. "What happens now?" Ryder didn't answer right away. He looked at her, truly looked. "You were never just an alien to me," he said. "You were a reminder that even in war, humanity isn't only for humans." She placed her hand gently on his. A quiet moment passed. "We walk forward," she sighed. "Together." And they did. In a galaxy torn by violence, two souls had found something stronger than orders, louder than hate, and deeper than war. A bond born not of peace, but of a choice. A bond born from war.